People say that with pretty privilege, there are no doors you can't open. If Vera Miles heard you say that, she just might burst into laughter. Sure, her immense beauty opened doors for her, but she learned the hard way that beauty is not the only criterion for success. In this video, we will take a deep dive into the untold life of Vera Miles while showing you some of her rare photos. Vera June Ralston came into the world on August 23, 1929 in Boise City, Oklahoma, to Thomas Ralston and Bernice Wyrick. After her birth, her family moved to Pratt, Kansas. Later, they settled in Wichita. Growing up in the American Midwest, Vera was the stereotypical American sweetheart. Coasting off her good looks, she hardly struggled with any hardships. She was one of the most popular girls in Wichita North High School. At that age, she did not even struggle to find employment and worked the night shift as an operator typist at a Western Union. After graduating from high school at the age of 18, Vera participated in the Miss Kansas State Beauty Pageant, where she won first place. Out of all the girls in the state, she was selected to go on and represent Kansas at the Miss America National Contest the following year. There, she placed very highly, coming in at third place. She was now a nationwide sensation. With several eyes on her, a lot of people wondered what Vera would do next. Most other girls in this situation would have gone down the easy path. They would have married a modestly rich businessman and become a housewife. Thankfully for Vera, she had good people advising her. Rather than let all that beauty and attention go to waste, why not try to make it in Hollywood? This idea appealed to Vera, and so she went along with it. Of course, she had a line of suitors, but she wanted to have her cake and eat it too. As a young girl in Kansas, the silver screen shined with such ferocious brightness. Too bad she couldn't take all her well-meaning advisors along with her on her Hollywood journey. Before she left the state, Vera got married to Bob Miles. As there was already a Vera Ralston in showbiz at the time, she adopted his last name for her stage name. If Bob had things his own way, he would have made Vera a housewife. But then, he knew better than to stop her from going to Hollywood. With what happened to their marriage later, perhaps he should have fought harder. Vera left Wichita for Los Angeles in 1949 when she was 26 years old. This was her first time moving away from home. She had arrived with a head full of dreams and a heart full of gratitude. But little did she know she was in the land of wolves now, that she could not be as naive and trusting as she once was. Due to her great beauty, Vera had very little trouble at all getting started in Hollywood. She first appeared in a few commercials, then went on to land minor roles in TV and film. She was never credited, but people began to notice her. In fact, one of these minor roles was in the musical 2 Tickets to Broadway, starring Janet Leigh. Little did they know it at the time, but they would cross paths again in their careers. In the early 50s, many producers in the major studios noticed Vera and wanted to lock her down with a contract. Happily, she signed the first contract she was presented. However, the moment she signed on, things slowed down for her. She waited around until she was let go, only to turn around and sign a new contract. Vera's beauty and talent were such that she never had any trouble landing new contracts, but all the trouble lay in the fact that she hardly had any business sense for advancing her career within the studio system. Instead of fighting for top roles like other actresses, she was content just sitting around and playing whatever small parts the studio was contractually obligated to hand her. She was to be a major star, but was relegated to B-list status. Throughout the early to mid-50s, Vera appeared in a decent number of movies helmed by prestigious directors. Her first credit was in a rom-com known as The Rose Bowl Story. She then proceeded to star in Wichita, directed by Jacques Tourneur. She also appeared in John Ford's The Searchers, alongside John Wayne. During this time, she circled all the major stars in Hollywood, but had yet to become one herself. However, she continued to work hard, holding the belief that a major change was around the corner. In 1956, Vera met a director who initiated what should have been the most creatively and financially fulfilling relationship of her career. Too bad things didn't turn out as either of them desired. What happened was she landed the role of Rose Balistrero in the movie The Wrong Man. Her co-star was none other than Henry Fonda, one of Hollywood's major leading men at the time. Vera did so well in the movie that the director got enamored by her and planned to use her in many more movies. The director was Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock was one of the most gifted and most notorious directors of the Golden Age. Starting his career during the silent era, he went on to make so many undying classics. Actors like Jimmy Stewart, Cary Grant, Sean Connery, and Tippi Hedren were frequent collaborators. His movies were so popular that he had the power to make whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, with whomever he wanted. Funnily enough, Hitchcock had met Vera earlier, when she starred in one of the episodes of his TV show Alfred Hitchcock Presents. However, she did not make a lasting impression at the time. This time, though, he was seeing her in a whole new light, and he had so many marvelous plans for her. Before deciding to work with Vera, Grace Kelly had been Hitchcock's #1 muse. She had starred in 3 of his movies, which went on to be very successful. However, Grace had fallen in love with a European royal and went on to marry him. As the new Princess of Monaco, her subjects forbade her from starring in the gritty work that Alfred Hitchcock was known for. In Vera, Hitchcock had found his replacement for Grace Kelly. He decided to sign a 5-year contract with her on the spot and planned many projects for her to star in. One of those projects was a movie known as Vertigo. Hitchcock had put in much effort coming up with a screenplay. Shortly after filming began, though, something happened. Vera got pregnant. What happened was, with her new life in Hollywood, she could no longer meet her first husband's needs. Divorcing him but keeping his name, she married the actor Gordon Scott in 1956. Vera had been Gordon's love interest in the movie Tarzan's Hidden Jungle. A spark caught between them, and that was that. At the time, Vera may have thought that missing out on Vertigo was no big deal, but history would prove her wrong in a massive way. To replace Vera, Hitchcock found the beautiful blonde actress Kim Novak. When the movie came out, reviews were a little tepid, but then, in the years since then, it underwent several reevaluations. It is now commonly considered the greatest film of all time, making Kim Novak an undying star in the cultural consciousness. Vertigo should have been Vera's ticket to ride into undying stardom. Unfortunately for her, someone else ended up eating the fruit of her labor. After Vera gave birth, she could not merely resume her working relationship with Hitchcock. The director was busy making a new project starring Hollywood titan Cary Grant. But even so, he felt bad for never delivering his promise to Vera. As such, he found a way to make it work. In 1960, as restrictions on the type of content directors could film were eased, Hitchcock planned to make a really gritty serial killer movie titled Psycho. Janet Leigh was billed as the leading star, but Hitchcock had a brilliant way to move the spotlight over to Vera. In a move no director had attempted before, Hitchcock had Janet's character killed right in the middle of the movie. The rest of it was then helmed by Vera's character, who tried to solve the mystery of her murder. Unlike Vertigo, Psycho was instantly successful. Though it is regarded as a classic today, it still lags behind Vertigo in many lists. Her work in Hollywood ensures that Vera Miles won't ever really be forgotten, but very few people know just how big of a star she should have been. At 94 years old, Vera Miles is still alive today. While she appeared in many TV shows and movies, no one can deny that she should have been a way bigger star. Hopefully, people can learn many lessons from her career. Despite some fumbles, it is still a career to be celebrated and admired. If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll also enjoy the one showing on your screen right now. Click, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.